Hello there folks, and this tutorial today I'm going to tie you up a wet fly pattern. And this little guy I come up with myself, and it has the same characteristics of the Grizzly King wet fly, but I use guinea hen for the tail and the wing instead, and olive soft hackle, and I simply call it the Guinea King. Quite a neat little wet fly pattern, and I thought you might like to see how I tie this one up, and maybe you can tie some of these up as well if you have the materials on hand. So I'll get this little guy the vise, first hook in, and we'll get it going here. Okay, the hook is a standard wet fly hook, 33.99 mustad. Now tying on the bigger size, number 10 here. Okay, get that locked down, and I'm using some 8/0 uni for the thread in black. So the first thing we'll do is start our thread on right behind the eye. Get a nice thread base going back here. And we're going to get two above our barb here. Snip off my tag in first. Okay, and then we'll come back. Right about there is where we want our thread. Okay. Now the tail material is some guinea hen fibers. I just pulled off a little section of a guinea quill here, the wing quill off a guinea hen, and just a small section, and folded it. And we're going to tie that in for the tail. And like always, our tail to be about the width of the hook gap there. So we'll tie that in with the simple pinch loop here, right on top of the hook. Wrap back a couple wraps, and it's not a heavy tail, it's fairly sparse. Now I'll trim that to about where I want the body to end on this fly. Now next is the rib. And the ribbing material on this guy is some small oval gold tinsel. So we'll tie that in here on the far side here. Get that snugged in with a couple wraps, and we'll trim that the same length as the tail material. Now what I want to try to do is keep a smooth base, because this has a floss body. So I'm going to wrap up here to where I ended the materials. Try to keep that smooth as possible. Okay, I'll keep wrapping up here. Going to cover this all up with our thread, just like so. Okay. Now our next step is our floss. And the floss I'm using is uni floss, single strand, and it's called emerald green. Or you could use any color green, as long as it's like a medium green is what I use on this guy. So we'll get that tied in here. Alright, I'm just trimming the end on it there. We'll tie that in right here with a couple wraps. Okay, now I'm going to make a half hitch knot here. So I'm going to use my rotary function to wrap the body. My bobbin cradle around. Alright, so what we're going to do is wrap back and then forward once again with the floss, trying to keep it as smooth as possible. And it frays quite easily, so watch your hook point as you're wrapping back, whichever way you're wrapping it. Okay, so we'll get that wrap right in front of our tail and our rib. Then we're going to start coming back up once again. Be mindful of the hook point at all times. That can ruin your day for you. And we'll just wrap this up here till we get to our tie-off point. Okay, a few more wraps. Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to move that cradle out of my way here. Bring my thread back up on the bobbin. And I'm going to tie, whoops, thread broke there. Now that happens to all of us once in a great while, so quick fix on that. I'm just going to grab the thread and the material with the pliers, rethread my bobbin. I don't edit my videos, so what happens thread breakage is and whatnot, so just bear with me folks. Alright, we're going to catch that in there. We'll save this guy for sure. Alrighty, now we'll just trim off the two ends there. Okay, not so bad. Alright, now our next step, we're going to wrap our rib and probably get about usually 4 to 5 wraps in here. Nice and tight. Okay, then we'll come up, tie that guy off. Oops, having all kinds of fun here today. Sorry about that, folks. Alrighty, now we'll fold that back so it's locked in there good. Snip off the excess. Alrighty. Okay, that's that. Now, our next step is our hackle for the fly. And I have an olive hen hackle here. And I got it prepared to tie in. I'm going to tie it in by the tip there. So, stroke those fibers back. And we'll tie that right on top here. Then I'm going to fold it back to lock it in there with a few wraps. And you can snip or just reach in, and usually you can pull that tip right off like so. Wrap back, and then I'm going to make one wrap in behind that hackle to stand it up a little before I wrap it. Then move my thread forward once again behind the eye. Okay, I'll grab my hackle pliers here, grip the stem, and I want to preen these fibers back before I wrap. Just like so. Okay, now we'll begin to wrap our hackle. And wrap towards the eye there. Okay. Looks like we're going to end up using all of this one guy this time. And tie underneath with a couple wraps. And a few in front. And I'll come snip that out. Okay. Now I wanted a beard style hackle on this guy, so what you do is just pull down and back at the same time on all these hackle fibers before we wrap back on them. Just want them all, majority of them all underneath the hook is what I want. Not too many left on top, so we'll wrap back. Just like so. There we go, and as you can see, they're pretty much all on the bottom of our fly. Okay, next is the wing, and the wing is simply more guinea hen fibers off the quill, and I took another section of a little bit, about twice the width of the first section on you take for the tail, and then fold that as well, and that gives us that right there for the wing. And I'll measure that up about halfway on the tail, and we'll come up and around with the pinch loop here, then pull straight up. And wrap forward a few wraps, snug it down, and there's our wing. Okay, so the next step is to come in with my scissors and trim that up on an angle, sort of here, a slight angle. Okay, there we go. Make sure it stayed on the top. It still looks good there. It didn't move on me. No, it's still good. Okay. Alrighty, so what I like to do also before I build my head is to take a little bit of head cement here and just put a dab right on those fibers. Let it soak in a little bit there before I start to build the head on this guy. Okay, so now we'll just the process of building the head up on this wet fly, and he'll be done. Bind down all those butt ends of the wing there, and we'll try to form a nice neat little head on him here, just like so. Just take your time till you're happy with it, and then we'll do a whip finish here. Alrighty, that's looking good. Okay, that looks fine. The wing stayed straight right on top of the hook. That's how you want it. Just like so. And one last step is a whip finish, so we'll come in here with the whip finisher and we'll finish the guy up here. So we'll get 4 or 5 turn whip finish in him here once I get a hold of the thread. Alrighty. There we go. Alrighty, it's pretty much a done deal. We'll snip off our excess. Just like so there. Okay, and I think it's a pretty sharp looking little wet fly. Make a good attractor pattern for sure. And last step, we'll take some Solaris bone dry and finish off on the head there. Just grab my needle. Get a little bit on my needle here and go around. Okay. Just cover all the thread wraps all the way around before I zap it with the light there. Alrighty. Now I'll just come in and cure that up real quick here. Okay. Doesn't take too long to cure this resin. And there we have it. Another size 10 Guinea King wet fly. So, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial this time around, and like I was saying, if you have these materials, put a few of these together and throw them in your box. So I want to thank you for watching, and I'll mention, if you haven't subscribed yet to my new channel and you'd like to keep seeing flies in the future, just hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon as well, so you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And you can also throw in a like too. Appreciate that as well. So until next time, everyone, happy tying out there. We'll see you all again soon, and so long for now, folks.